Orange County, often known by its initials OC, is located in the Los Angeles metropolitan area in Southern California. As of the 2020 census, the population was 3,186,989, making it the third most populous county in California, the sixth most populous county in the United States, and more populous than 19 states in the U.S. and Washington, D.C.
Jeez.
Yeah. California has like 38 million people. Is that right? Like as a state or more? I think California has like 38 or 39 million people and
that
two
sounds
senators.
about right. Yeah.
Damn.
So although largely suburban, it is the second most densely populated county in the U.S. behind San Francisco County. Did I just read the opposite? No,
I
that's
have
not
no
right.
idea. Numbers don't stick in here.
Second most densely populated county in California behind San Francisco County. Okay, that makes sense. The county's three most populous cities are Anaheim, Santa Ana, and Irvine, each of which has a population exceeding 300,000. Santa Ana is also the county seat. 6 cities in Orange County are on the Pacific coast, and those are Seal Beach, Huntington Beach, Newport Beach, Laguna Beach, ever heard of?
Yes!
Dana Point, and San Clemente. Archaeological evidence shows the area to have been inhabited beginning around 10,000 years ago. At the time of European contact, the northern area of what is now Orange County was primarily inhabited by the Tongva, while the southern area of the county was primarily inhabited by the Ashaman. Both groups lived in villages throughout the area. Large villages were sometimes multi-ethnic and multilingual, which I thought was really cool.
Very cool.
Also, ties back to what I'm going to talk about in a couple minutes.
Oh, okay.
Multi-ethnic, multilingual. Everyone got along. It was fine. I don't know that for a fact, but let's assume so.
Mm-hmm.
During the Spanish mission period in the late 1700s, the early European immigrants relied on imports of both Mexican-grown and Spanish-grown wines. So some they were bringing up from Mexico, some they were fully importing from Spain.
Mm-hmm.
Spanish expedition leader Junipero Serra repeatedly complained of the process of repeated labored import. He was like, this is bullshit, sick of it. We need to find a different way to get wine.
It would be very hard to like keep a vine happy
Production,
yeah, on a long ship voyage.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the first grape crop production was produced in 1782 at San Juan Capistrano, with vines potentially brought through supply ships in 1778. So they think they did bring them, I think, from Spain. I don't know why they'd have ships coming up from Mexico, but maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
1782 was like the first vineyards in California, which was cool.
Very cool.
Viticulture became an increasingly important crop in Los Angeles and Orange counties through the subsequent decades. By the 1850s, the region supported more than 100 vineyards. In 1857, Anaheim was founded by 50 German Americans in search of a suitable grape-growing region. So they purposely came over. They're like, we want to get on this grape train.
Yeah.
This grapey train.
Am I dumb for not realizing that people grew grapes in Orange County? I thought that was all north.
No. There are vineyards throughout all of California.
Okay.
The one Amanda did her wine pairing with is from Orange County.
But
and they do source grapes from other surrounding areas, but yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like the well-known grape production part of the
I guess I just only think of like the TV show and like
right.
Not agriculture as much.
Mm-hmm.
But orange is in the name.
And that time we went shopping in Newport Beach, because that was one of the best days of my life.
Such a good day.
So this group of 50 German Americans purchased, this makes me so upset, purchased
As she laughs.
1,165 acre parcel for $2 per acre, and later formed the Anaheim Vineyard Company.
Dang.
In 1889, so the county seceded from Los Angeles County to the north to become its own county named Orange. The county is said to have been named for the citrus fruit in an attempt to promote immigration by suggesting a semi-tropical paradise, a place where anything can grow.
Like
Wow.
Greenland.
Like grapes.
So the naming of Orange County was like a PR
Mhm.
stunt.
Amazing.
That tracks.
Yeah. By the 1920s, the Valencia orange was their major industrial crop. By the 1950s, the agricultural industry began to decline as different industries popped up, like aerospace and manufacturing. Also, Disneyland opened in 1955.
Oh, that's right.
So Highway 5 was completed in 1954. So, like, bring on the commuters,
Mhm.
making Orange County a bedroom community for people working in these industries, and the county became more and more prosperous. This is basically the highway system that made it
Yeah.
the
Accessible
wealthy county that it is today.
Mhm.
Here's a fun fact for you. In 1994, an investment fund meltdown led to the criminal prosecution of Treasurer Robert Citron, is his last name.
What are the chances?
Babby Citron.
I wonder that's why he was elected.
That's hilarious.
Citron or orange?
Citron. The county lost at least $1.5 billion through high-risk investments on bonds. On December 6, 1994, the county of Orange declared Chapter 9 bankruptcy from which it emerged in June of 1996.
Victorious.
So they weren't in bankruptcy for a year and a half.
Mhm.
Still kind of a long time for a county to be in bankruptcy.
Yeah.
But the OC bankruptcy was at the time the largest municipal bankruptcy in U.S. history. Oops.
Wow. So Citron really fucked shit up.
Fucking
He
Citron.
really fucked shit up, yeah.
Classic
So that's
Citron.
enough about the good stuff about the OC. Let's get to the not so good stuff.
Okay.
School segregation between Mexican and white students in Orange County was widespread in the mid-1940s, with 80% of Mexican students attending 14 segregated schools.
Wow.
These schools, this is so fucked up. These schools taught Mexican children manual education, so
Oh my
like
God. Hard labor.
gardening, boot making, blacksmithing, and carpentry for Mexican boys, and sewing and homemaking for the girls, while
It's
white
it's great
schools,
to learn trades, but
while
If
white
you
schools
want
taught
to,
actual
right, yeah.
academic preparation.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, so the white schools taught normal educating children stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Racial segregation in California schools was officially outlawed in 1947 in the landmark Mendez versus Westminster case, but of course, racism remained and remains prevalent. I do have a photo of the sweet little baby girl. She's not really a baby, who was the Mendez side of this case because her parents tried to enroll her and I think some of her siblings in the same school that some of her cousins went to.
Mm-hmm.
Because they wanted to be with their cousins. But the cousins they were still Mexican, but they had lighter skin.
Oh, God.
So they were allowed at the white school and these kids were denied.
Mm-hmm.
So that was what that case was about.
Mhm.
Yep.
So this is from The Guardian. Orange County is very conservative and historically has been very white. It helped launch Richard Nixon and Ronald Reagan, who called it the place, quote, where all the good Republicans go to die.
Mm-hmm.
It's a quote from
Ew.
Reagan. It led the state's crackdown on illegal immigration in the 1990s. A subgroup of neo-Nazi surfers acquired notoriety for putting swastikas on their surfboards.
Mhm.
What a fucking... People are so fucking strange.
Unhinged.
Mm-hmm. These articles that I've read are, I mean, we'll get to it. It is bonkers. This county is bonkers. The Real Housewives of Orange County, as we're well aware of,
Mhm.
has bolstered the impression of a white enclave. Yeah. In fact, over the past 2 decades, the county has become diverse to the point that white people are no longer a majority. So white people make up 44% of the population of the 3 million people who live in Orange County, with Latinos comprising 34% and Asians 18%. And white people are very pissed about this. Most white people live in tracts, large tracts of land that are at least 60%.
Tracts of land.
So most white people live in these areas that are at least 60% white. So white people stick with white people. And many of these areas are in the coastal cities like Newport Beach, Huntington Beach, Laguna Beach, and San Clemente, like I mentioned. It's like these areas are very white and they're on the coast, so they can afford to live there. The inland city of Santa Ana, in contrast, once predominantly white, is now 78% Latino. Economics explains much of this. As I mentioned, whites are wealthier and can afford pricey coastal real estate, and most Latinos cannot. But aside from economics, wouldn't you know, it's also fucking racism.
Yeah.
This article talks about a study conducted in 2010 by 2 white researchers. They intentionally chose white researchers to conduct this, who interviewed 40 white Orange County residents to find out their honest opinions about the diversity of their county. And here's a small sample. The respondents, quote, overwhelmingly characterized Latinos and African Americans as culturally deficient, problematic, and inferior. They used words like trash, third world, and gangy.
Oh my God.
So that was referencing Black people and Latino people, but Asians, in contrast, were deemed assimilated to white American norms and values. Quote, God, one respondent said, quote, the Asians come in and they're freaking motivated. Hispanics aren't. Asians seem to be more proper, cleaner, and conservative.
Oh my God.
And this is some of the less offensive shit that's documented in this article. I'm not going to put out any more into the universe. It's so fucking gross, but it's nasty.
These OC whiteys really opened up.
Yeah.
To the white researchers,
This is the shit they said on the record, y'all.
Yeah.
Like, woof.
Yeah.
No.
So I mentioned the freeways before that like kind of made it possible for this county to be so prosperous. Certain freeways sort of act like the Mason-Dixon line of Orange County, which is more or less split between a more diverse north and a super white south. So Dr. Celia Lacayo, who published that study that I referenced, said, quote, whites used parking fees, homeowner association rules, and gated communities to deter unwanted visitors and settlers, even middle-class Latinos. They resisted the transport of Latino children to white majority schools and expressed willingness to withdraw their children from integrated schools.
Cool.
Who's gangy now? Jesus.
Right? It's all a projection.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, of course. Following the 2016 presidential election, Santa Ana became a sanctuary city for immigrants. This created an intense debate in Orange County surrounding politics towards immigration, with many cities opposing pro-immigration policies. Do you remember that one specific episode of Real Housewives of OC with Kelly
Dodd or whatever? I don't watch OC, but Kelly Dodd has like always been in hot water for being a fucking terrible person.
It was a season that I think was filmed in 2020. So it was after this, but they were like breaking down what white fragility meant and white privilege and all this stuff. And half of them were just so blatantly fucking stupid about it. And some of them were like, I finally understand what white privilege is. It's just like,
yikes.
Good for you, honey.
Yeah, congrats.
Okay, intense debate. Also, the COVID-19 pandemic in Orange County disproportionately affected lower income and Latino residents. So there is some aspect of systemic racism there too.
It's basically just a mini version of the U.S.
Yes.
It's just a microcosm of the U.S.
But the fact that it's so small makes it's just way less subtle.
Yeah.
It's just, okay, from CNN. In December of 2022, Andrew Doe, a Republican member of the Orange County Board of Supervisors.
A female deer.
Teamed up with Ray, a drop of golden sun.
Well, Doe, by the way, moved to the U.S. from Vietnam in the 1970s. And he himself experienced, quote, violent racism, extreme hostility, and physical assault on a regular basis growing up. So now he is a Republican. He's a member of the OC Board of Supervisors, which is an extremely powerful group. A lot of money and influence goes through this Board of Supervisors. So he put forth a resolution taking a stance similar to many other counties in California and around the nation, which was to declare racism as a public health crisis. The resolution was unanimously adopted by the board, but was met with contempt by some audience members in attendance, with at least one heard on video yelling an ethnic slur.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not a public health crisis.
The irony.
God.
So
Oh my fucking God.
It gets worse, you guys. It gets worse.
Of course it does. It always
I'm not
does.
a racist. I just want to protect my right to yell ethnic slurs.
Yeah, freedom
Exactly.
of speech.
Democrat Doug Chaffee, chairman of the board, co-sponsored Doe's resolution and outlined during the meeting why racism poses such an acute public health crisis. Quote, experiencing racism has been associated with increased risk for numerous mental and physical chronic health conditions like heart disease, cancer, asthma, stroke, Alzheimer's, diabetes, and suicide.
Mm-hmm.
These health disparities underscore the urgent need to address systemic racism as the root cause of racial and ethnic health inequities and a core element of public health efforts. According to a recent annual report by the Orange County Human Relations Commission, documented hate crimes and related incidents in the county were up 165% in 2021 compared to in 2015 or 2016.
Well, and
That's what happens when the Republican Party normalizes hate and racism and all this stuff, and it starts to become acceptable behavior amongst like kind of smoother edged white Republicans. You know what I'm saying?
And
It's
we
also
saw
bolstered by legislation.
by legislation, and we saw a huge increase in Asian hate crimes in the wake of the pandemic.
Yep.
And there was a lot. I mean, there's a very large Asian population throughout California.
Yep.
And we saw a lot of horrific things happening to the Asian community in California.
Yeah.
And
around
the
that
Asian community is more accepted than
Mhm.
Latinos and Black people in this county, too. So it's like,
Right. They're granted proximity to whiteness because they're not brown.
Mm-hmm.
yep. Mhm.
It's fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
So this measure is more than symbolic. They have actual, real, solid plans to combat racism in Orange County. So, quote, for example, Doe said the review will include looking at locations of county social service facilities, homeless shelters, and hospitals to lower barriers and ensure that underrepresented communities are not being inadvertently denied access.
Mm-hmm. Let's
So
also
that's just-
make sure that they have access to voting.
Right.
All of the above. They have a ton of these things. That was just one example that I pulled. In a 2021 Board of Supervisors public meeting, a member of the audience called Doe a, quote, parasite and said, quote, I ask you to go the fuck back to Vietnam.
Oh my God.
That was in 2021. In this past December,
Vietnam, too. Fucking Vietnam. He's
he's Vietnamese.
no,
Well, yeah.
I know, but like, take for a half of beat the history of Vietnam and why he might be here.
Why he
as
might have
an
come here in
American.
the 1970s. Jesus Christ.
I get so sweaty and angry.
Well,
Yeah.
it's just so stupid.
Not
It's
that
so
it's acceptable
stupid.
to say that to anyone about
No.
anywhere.
No, but
But
specifically,
it's so fucking stupid.
Yes, the stupidity is shocking.
in December 2022, as the board was preparing to vote on Doe's resolution declaring racism a public health crisis, an audience member yelled at Orange County Healthcare Agency Director Clayton Chow, who is also Asian American, telling him to, quote, go back to China.
So yeah, they just really
Mm-hmm. Joe
went
quickly
for
came
it.
to his colleague's defense, slamming the man who had hurled the slur, as well as those claiming the resolution was unnecessary in Orange County. He said,
You're making
quote,
that clear.
He said, quote, really? Go back to China? And you think racism is dead?
Right.
Irony is a concept that is foreign to some of us.
Mm-hmm.
To end on a little bit more of a hopeful note, here are some thoughts on the subject from this guy who I follow on Instagram now. He's amazing. His name is Gustavo Arellano. He's the editor of the alternative magazine OC Weekly and author of the syndicated column Ask a Mexican,
Yes.
which answers reader queries about Latino stereotypes. And I like that the Ask a Mexican has the upside down exclamation point and the
That's cute.
Ask a Mexican. He just has a really good attitude. He's really sweet. He has like 2 really old dogs. I like him a lot. So he thinks that the old, quote unquote, old Orange County is dying, giving way to millennials who were reared by Mexican maids and who eat Mexican food. According to him, which makes them half Mexican. Progressive artsy types who used to flee the Stepford Wives type vibe are now staying to create a new Orange County, he said. Quote, you have to fight the belly right in its beast. Which I think was kind of, yeah. So anyway, hopeful, but also Orange County is not the carefree surfer, there are no problems that is represented in, I don't know, The OC, the TV show, The Real Housewives, all that.
Well, I sure hope you liked that clip. If you did like that clip, make sure you are subscribing to our YouTube channel, leaving us a nice review, and joining us on Patreon for even more video content, audio content, salacious content all around. Come join us. Treat yourself.